Sup everybody, Jaxxsin here, coming to you a couple hours after I've beaten Far Cry Primal, man. And I just want to talk about this, do a critique and review on it, and in typical fashion, that's just going to be me sort of rambling about my thoughts and impressions in this game, and things where I thought they nailed it, things where I thought they could have done something different, just things of that nature, and going off about all the things I loved, all the things I didn't like. Alright, here we go. Let's start. To start with, man, like, Far Cry Primal is at its core a Far Cry game, okay? So, like, you got your hostage situations where you gotta be quiet, save hostages, you know what I mean? You got your kill and loot quests, you know what I mean? You got your bonfires or your radio towers, bonfires in this one, and your outposts in this one, you know what I mean? Where you take, to control the map and the enemy, density on the map. And, so, like, at its heart, it's a Far Cry game. So if you're a Far Cry fan that was hoping that they would go somewhere crazy different, you're gonna be disappointed. They didn't go anywhere too crazy different with this. And I also want to mention too, real quick before I go any further, is that I didn't buy this game, so it was given to me for free. So my opinion is objectively going to be a lot different than someone who paid, X amount of $60 for it, you know what I mean? Like, I paid nothing, so I just want to keep everything above board and honest, man, you know what I mean? So, like, anyway, but if you wanted it to be crazy different than the typical Far Cry game, you're going to be disappointed. There's all these quests and things in it, all right? Now let's get to where it's different. And where it's different is, I feel like they put more emphasis on the RPG aspect of it this time around. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that Far Cry has always been RPG heavy for your typical shooter, you know what I mean? Whereas it's an open world, you got skills, you craft, you know what I mean? You level up. Things like that, so it's definitely heavier on the RPG. I just felt it more here, from the title screen to the music, like everything that pulled me back to that time and set the stage, as the curtains drew back and I was introduced to this world and started playing as this character Takar. I felt it, man. It was very cool, very real. It kept me engaged, and the sounds, the visuals, the environments in this game are fucking very pretty, man. Very gorgeous environments. I found myself one night just climbing up this, rope, and all of a sudden I just noticed the sky and the stars and the moon, and I just immediately, dude, I just started to just trail into it because it was so beautiful. And you got all the environments you'd expect to see from a prehistoric period. There's like a northern area that's very icy, very, you know what I mean? There's a southern area that has like tons of geysers and shit like that, you know what I mean? It's very fucking cool, man. It looks legit for its time, legit. All right, the character models are beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, the dialogue is excellent. It's this dialect of, like, that they actually paid people to read, and it's a dialect of what you would expect to hear from people of that time based on what we know of prehistory and all of that, so they kept it as true to the period as possible that you could possibly do, you know what I mean? And this dialect is very easy on the ears. It's very pleasant to hear, and there's just subtitles that come across the screen so you understand what the character is saying. But it works. It draws you there. It works, and it pulls you there. Okay. Another thing I mean with the RPG aspect is they now have like a story recap whenever you load into the game, which kind of like sets the stage for where you were, where your character was, and it kind of does that almost like The Witcher with the dandelion scenes where he was, like recapping the story of Geralt up to that point in the game where you were. So you immediately was kind of there when you started. And they did that here, and you know what I mean? And some traditional Far Cry fans may not like the changes to the inventory, like with the weapons and things. I like these things. Like, the weapons were very true to the era. There were, there were your basic types, but then there were different types of that. So for instance, there's like a short bow, a long bow. There's a bow you unlock a little later in the game where you get like, you're able to shoot 2 arrows at a time. There's, it's an excellent game. I enjoyed it. Now, that said, with the Far Cry thing, about it being, at its heart, it's a Far Cry game. the thing about that I feel like they could have done something a little different, and yes they did. They added some certain things to spice up these things, you know what I mean. They added some little different quests, but for the most part they were all the same, and you did them over and over again, you know, these side missions found across the map. And you know, like, there's nothing wrong with these side missions. They were very entertaining. I personally enjoyed them. But this goes back to, like, I feel like we've seen the end of, like, Assassin's Creed, because it just tried, at the end of the day, to be the same thing over and over again so many times that people just kind of got sick of it, you know what I mean? And I feel like Far Cry Primal, they did a good job spicing up the formula, but instead of spicing it up, I think they should have cooked up an entirely new recipe. And I feel like they could have ran with this RPG aspect of it a little bit more and had more unique quests. Like, yes, there were several unique quests, and there was a bunch of story quests that are very awesome, very well thought out, very good story. At its core, this story is all about survival, man, and it's apparent in everything that you see. Survival, dude. That's what it's all about. Obviously, it's prehistoric era, you know what I mean? But so I felt like they could have ran with that a little bit more and had some of these side quests be a little more spicy, have like a little more variety to them, instead of, you know, like, go save these 4 hostages, you know, go burn down this place, go fucking, you know what I mean? Even though the burning down this place quests were very fun, where you had to go to a enemy encampment and you were supposed to burn everything down, that was very cool. I enjoyed it. But after a little while, you know, like I said, you know, and yes, I enjoyed doing all of these. Like, I did every side quest in the game. Obviously, I enjoyed them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just doing that just to do it. I'm doing it because I'm enjoying the gameplay of what I'm doing while I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Because I do enjoy the weapons. I enjoy the pets, which I'll get into now. The pets in this game, oh my gosh. The pets add a whole new element to it that's just, like, very excellent. They're fucking, they work very well with you. They do what, you know, if you tell them to attack the target, they will go and they will, it's excellent. And you get some pretty badass pets through, like, the legendary hunting quests and things like that. You get some pretty badass quests, pets, which later on you can even ride. So you can, like, be riding around on your saber-toothed tiger. It's fucking awesome. It's a trip. It's a very good it's an awesome feeling to be riding through that, you know, just that landscape on a fucking saber-toothed tiger, roll up on a mammoth and, you know, hit it in the neck. And then, you know, these pets, the best thing about these pets is their kill animations is insane, man. Like, you stick your saber-toothed tiger on, you know, an animal, and all of a sudden it's, like, up on top of it, and it's got it by its neck, and it's flipped it down, and now it's dead, and it, like, gives you, dude, it's fucking awesome to see it. Like, in the moment, you're just like, oh my god, it's so fucking cool. And there were plenty of those moments in Far Cry Primal. There were so many moments in Far Cry Primal where my jaw just dropped and I was in awe of my surroundings and everything that was going on. They did a very good job. And there's these caves they've added, and these caves are very cool and awesome to go into. They're very fucking, like, there's, like, the tribes, they have the Udon, they have these, like, skull, like, fucking totems, and they're, like, all skeletons and, like, with a fucking bear robe on them, and it's just, dude, they've got all sorts of fucking just cool shit in this game. Definitely the view, dude, they didn't skimp on the art design in this game, or on the sound, or on the music. All 3 of those are excellent. The look, the sound, and the music in this game are all fucking top notch, fucking top shelf amazing. Alright? But like I was saying, I feel like at its core, it is a Far Cry game, and at the end of the day, once you've beaten it, like I just beat it, you know. And another thing that they removed was the choice at the end of the game, which I'm gonna say kind of bugged me, and the ending was a little, I mean, there were these awesome boss battles. I'm not gonna tell you about what the story was, but then there was a conclusion to each one of those, and then at the end of the day, though, it was just kind of like a weird little, you know, we're all happy now ending. And I was hoping for more of a, you know, like a split decision, like, you know, it's more, you know, what they're famous for, you know what I mean, with the two sides, you know, which one do I choose and blah blah blah, you know, and that gives you a little more replayability on the game. And like, there's not going to be a reason for me to replay this game now that I know that there's, you know, there's no different story going on. I'm going to get the same story again. Why would I, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, and I played it through on hard, so like there's no reason to play through on, I mean, there's the survivalist or whatever difficulty, I don't know what it is in this one, you know what I mean, but that's the category it falls under. Death March, you know what I mean, whatever, what have you. There's that difficulty, and I just don't feel the need to play it. I feel like hard is, it was challenging enough to me where I was still felt like it was, you know, it was a challenge. I felt accomplished when I did something, you know, so it was good. I felt like that was my difficulty level just fine. That fit me just fine. So I wish they had done the split ending. And I feel like I really wish that they had more ran with this RPG aspect and, you know, added something a little different to the mixture. I mean, they did, and they've added and, you know, made things, certain things better, like the inventory. Some Far Cry fans may not like it. I like it. The way they do it now is instead of having everything go into one pack, you have your pack and it's sorted by items. And once you're maxed on those items, it'll tell you, you know, you don't need these items anymore. Which I enjoy because I'm like an OCD loot whore, and I felt like in those other fucking Far Cry games, like early game was just killed for me because I just wanted to loot everything. Like if I see a plant, I want it. If I see a fucking chest, I want it. You know what I mean? And so I felt like the other ones killed it for me early game, and this one was better because then, you know, I just could grab everything. And then once I was full of it, which would take quite a while, you know, it would say your pack is full of these items, you don't need these anymore, and you could just be like, okay, well, I don't need to get any more of those. I'm good on those. And then you'd upgrade something or level up something, and you know what I mean. I really like the village aspect of this, where you find NPCs and bring them back to your village and you build them huts, and that in turn unlocks new skills and items, you know what I mean, for you, and that was fucking cool. I liked that. I really liked the story with all of the NPCs. I liked the way everything concluded. I loved the way everything played out. Alright, don't get me wrong with my bitch about the end of the game. Like, I don't feel like I was cheapened by that ending, or that I didn't have a good experience playing this game. Like, even that ending that they gave me was really good. It was good, you know, and it sets up for the sandboxing where you can still play the game once you've beaten it. Go out and just fucking, the enemy density in this game is spectacular. You're never going to go more than 20 feet without finding something that you can kill. Whether it be an animal to hunt or a group of enemies. Like, you're going to fucking run across enemies all over the place. Hostile predators all over the place. They kept it fitting to that. There's a new thing at night now where like the predators are actually more aggressive, and there's more of them on the map. So you can go in at night and like you can get in some crazy fights with your pets and stuff. And plus it's just beautiful at night anyway. Like I said, the sound and look of this game, oh my god. And it, you know, I felt like it was, the reason I say I feel like it's more heavy on the RPG side of things, even though they, like I said, they've always been heavy, you know, they've always been a little bit more heavy on the RPG than other traditional shooters. The reason I felt like it was more apparent here is because like every time I played this game, I was able to get into it. Like I was immersed into it. Like I felt my surroundings, you know what I mean? The sound was that good in my headset, and like the music was just very good. Like, you know, the village sounds, just the people talking this dialect that you don't understand, but it's so fucking interesting that you're like just wandering through town, you know, and through your village, and it's very fucking awesome. It's you know, it's a unique take on that period, but it's also a very historically accurate take on that period as well, because, you know, using what you have to work with prehistory, you know what I mean? And so, but they kept it very true to that. They kept it as true to that as possible, and I really enjoyed the story and all of the characters within the story. Like I said, it's like, it's one of those things where I felt like at the end of the day they just kept to too much to the same formula with, you know, yes, variations, very cool variations with the story and the weapons and things of that nature, the inventory and things of that nature, but at the end of the day, I felt like they could have gone farther and they could have experimented more and gone farther outside of their comfort zone, because they have this excellent, first person thing that I feel like they wanted to do something new with, and that's why they went Primal. And you know what I mean, that no guns, things like that, and I get that, and it's cool, and I enjoyed the bows and the like, in my opinion, the Far Cry games has the best first FPS bow ever. Alright, in my opinion, it's the smoothest bow, it's just the most accurate, and I love it. But at the end of the day, those things were excellent, but I beat the game in 28 hours. You know what I mean? Doing all the side quests. Now, that said, there's still a ton of stuff to do that I still plan on doing. Like, I still plan on exploring all of these locations, going through all of these caves, and as you do this, instead of checking your progress on collectibles within the inventory, this time it's displayed in your wall of your village in your cave. You get a cave that's like your place, and inside it's painted on the wall, you know what I mean? It shows this story of all the collectibles and stuff, which is cool, and I kind of want to see it finished, you know what I mean? I don't know if I want to see it finished enough to go after all the collectibles, but I for sure want to explore all the caves, and I for sure want to get all of the question marks, the undiscovered locations. I want to discover all of those locations. So, there's still tons of gameplay, you know what I mean? But like I said, like 27 hours for every all the story missions and all the side missions, and that's me upgrading everything. Like, I have the village all maxed out, I have all my weapons maxed out, my character is 2 skills away from being all the way leveled. So, you know what I mean? I in 27 hours, yes, it was an amazing 27 hours, and I enjoyed all of the fucking immersion that I felt, and I enjoyed the environments a lot, and I was like, in some of those caves, I was just like, oh man, I'm fucking in 13th Warrior, and I'm gonna kill these fucking stupid, crazy fucking caveman fucks, and it was awesome, and I was enjoying it, and I was in it, but at the end of the day, it's 27 hours, you know what I mean? So is it worth $60? That depends on how much you like sandboxing, staying in this world and continuing to play in this world, you know what I mean, and exploring everything. And if you hunt trophies, there's a ton more gameplay there, you know what I mean. If you do everything in this game, I'd wager to say it would take you about 60 hours, alright? 50-60 hours maybe to do everything in this game. So is it worth $60? It's like $1 an hour of entertainment. So and then you could have to question yourself, if you're a way hardcore Far Cry fan and you've played the other ones multiple times, odds are you're definitely going to play this one again a couple of different times, and so there's that. And so is it worth $60? Like I said, I didn't pay the money, but my brother did, and he's a hardcore Far Cry fan. He's played them all, so like, to him, fucking, he really wanted it. Me personally, I've enjoyed those games, you know what I mean, but I've never played them a ton as much as he has, or like, you know what I mean. I've always liked them, but I've always kind of like started them and gotten a little bit way into them and kind of lost touch with them. The only one I finished completely was Blood Dragon, you know what I mean. So like, I tend to get that feel that way. Not to say that they aren't amazing games or anything. Something about them couldn't keep me interested enough to make me want to go back after I would take a break to play another game. You know what I mean? But Far Cry Primal had my attention from start to finish. And, like I said, it's a very Far Cry quest, you know what I mean? But they're fun. I enjoy them. I enjoy them. But I can understand, like, with the Assassin's Creed style mentality, like, man, I just played this game. It just looks different. I played this game. Everything just looks different. You know what I mean? And, like, that's the thing about Far Cry Primal, is a Far Cry fan couldn't say at the end of the day, like, they had played this Far Cry game. So it's still unique to the franchise and to the series. Like, they're keeping it unique as it's a step up. But at the same time, is it a big enough leap that I feel like they've moved past and they want to break out, and it's not. And I feel like they still feel like they got to keep delivering the same thing because of the financial successes of the predecessors. You know what I mean? And I feel like they wanted to do a little something different, and that's why there's some different RPG-like elements added. Like, you'll notice them when you're playing it. You'll notice them. These things, like, it's a little bit more RPG heavy for a Far Cry game for sure. And but I mean, at the end of the day, is it worth $60? Personally, I wouldn't have bought it, but I'm not a die-hard Far Cry guy, and I could have waited to get this on sale and played it and enjoyed it, as much as I did now, probably, but wouldn't have had to spend all of my money on it, you know what I mean? Like, I would have been able to play it for, like, for instance, I bought Far Cry 4 for $23. So, I played it for, like, 8, 9, actually probably more like 16, 17 hours, something like that. I played it for a good 3 days. But the thing is like, I haven't gone back to it, because I've just been distracted by other games, and nothing in that game was like enough to make me go back to it, you know what I mean? I will say this, they took out, multiplayer for this too. I'm sure everyone knows that, because I remember reading a bunch of shit from hardcore Far Cry dudes saying it was ridiculous and blah blah blah. But I feel like it's not. I feel like in this instance, this experience, like Far Cry Primal, was meant to be felt alone. Like, I felt like they wanted the immersion experience, and they did a really good job. They took me there, man, and they had me captivated from the like I said, once you play this game, you'll understand what I'm saying a little bit more, but from that drop scene, from the credits to when they put you there, that shit, fucking, I was hooked. Hook, line, and sinker, they had me, and fucking, from that moment on, I was like playing this game when I was awake, and when I was asleep, I fucking was dreaming about this game. So, I mean, in my estimation, it's worth $60. You know what I mean? Like, but for me, like, had I not, that's easy for me to say after I've played it, having not spent the money. Right now, would I have spent $60 on it before I played it? No, I wouldn't have. But having played it, I will say this, that I feel like that experience was worth $60. It was a very good experience, and there's a lot of replayability, like I said, with fucking, I'm gonna go back and go after all the caves and stuff. There's like, my brother said he found a cave that he said was so deep and intricate. He was like, I was falling through a waterfall at one point, and then I was swimming through a cave, and like, they put a lot of attention into this game, and they put a lot of detail into this game, and it feels legit. And like, the caves are fucking awesome, because, like, these are our caveman forefathers, right? So like, these caves were kind of a critical thing in this game, and they nailed it. They nailed the caves. The caves are fucking amazing. The environment in the cave is amazing. Anyway, guys, so worth $60? I'd say yeah. Let me know what you guys thought. Like I said, though, I didn't spend $60. I played it for free, so let me know what you guys thought down below, and fucking love you guys, man. You guys are awesome. If I sound delirious, it's because I really am, dudes. I've been up for fucking, like, so long playing this game. I just was like, I got to the point where it was like, you know what? I could beat this game in another 6 hours. And so I just went for it. And now I'm just still awake, and I just kind of wanted to do it because, like I said, like, these are in, like, typical fashion, man. I'm just going over what my thoughts were while I was playing it, kind of like, I kind of build this in my mind while I play the game, and that's what you guys get, nothing else. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Fucking, once again, I love you guys. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember to be excellent to each other, dudes.